Hello, I'm Dr. Julie Dobbs from Animal-Oasis-of-the-Rockies, and today I'd like to help you better understand the use of acupuncture for certain conditions in dogs. My assistant Trinity will be helping by asking some questions, and I hope that we're better able to help you learn why the use of acupuncture in dogs can be helpful.
Awesome. Dr. Julie, what is dog acupuncture?
Yeah, so acupuncture is the insertion of a very small sterile needle into very specific points. So these points correlate to generally nerves and blood vessels that can have a whole variety of different functions. And then also we might do what your physical therapist may do, which is called dry needling, which is the insertion of needles into a muscle knot.
Okay. Is there more than one type of dog acupuncture?
Yeah, so like I just touched on, there is dry needling, which is where we find a muscle knot or a trigger point, they're called, and we actually insert a needle into that area. And what that does is that it helps the body relax that knot and help the dog feel better almost instantaneously. And the other type of acupuncture is more of the Chinese medicine aspect, which is where we stick needles into very specific spots that correlate with nerves and blood vessels, and they all have a lot of different functions, and they also provide typically more than one function per spot. So whether it be stimulating blood flow to that area, stimulating nerve function, or help with that pain windup, it's used for a lot of different things.
Okay. What is moxibustion and why is it considered part of acupuncture therapy?
Yeah, so I'm not formally trained in moxibustion, but essentially what it is applying heat to a specific acupuncture point. So it actually comes in this little, this little metal cup, and we actually light a substance with a flame, and it heats up that little metal cup, and we put that area on the acupuncture point. It can be considered a less, potentially less painful than a needle insertion. But again, I'm not formally trained in it, so I have never done it before. But I don't like the idea of fires in the vet clinic, so I tend to stay away from it.
Okay. How does the use of acupuncture impact the health and well-being of your dog?
I love acupuncture because I can really focus on the entire animal rather than trying to fix one problem and then another problem. So when I work on acupuncture in dogs, I generally work with their orthopedic system, so bones and muscles, but it also helps benefit some hormones as well. So it can help with things like Cushing's, liver disease, allergies, things like that. So it can really help address the overall well-being of the patient instead of just trying to focus on one organ system or the other.
Okay. How old does my dog need to be to receive acupuncture?
Yeah, so acupuncture can start at any point. So even if they're like a young puppy and they're having issues, like let's say that they sprain their back, or if they have a really bad bug bite that we're having trouble managing, at any point a dog can have acupuncture. We generally focus on the older patients just because they have more ailments that we're trying to fix, but there's definitely a lot of reasons that a younger dog would need acupuncture.
Okay. What are some conditions that would benefit your dog by receiving acupuncture treatment?
Yeah, so the first thing people always think of is arthritis. I actually really like acupuncture for a condition called degenerative myelopathy, which is really common in our older large breed dogs. And it's essentially where the long nerves that innervate the back legs start to degenerate over time. So if you're noticing that your dog is kind of dragging their legs, or you can hear their nails scraping on the floor, actually acupuncture is one of the only things that can actually improve it because we're physically stimulating those nerves with needles. So acupuncture can really help with that. Other things too, I touched on arthritis, skin issues too, is really amazing. So whether it be like a focal spot, we'll put needles around that area, try to get blood flow to that site, and that can help bring in healing factors, wash away toxins that might build up. Other things too, like pain, back pain can be a really big one, especially in our smaller dogs. So I always think about the dachshund with a slip disc and they're not able to walk, and for whatever reason, surgery isn't an option. Acupuncture can be an absolutely life-saving procedure if that's the case.
Okay. Would acupuncture complement my dog's current treatments?
Absolutely. So I really can't think of too many things that acupuncture wouldn't be good for. So, especially with the older dog with mobility issues. So, like I said, a lot of older dogs that have mobility issues, they also have a neurologic component to it. So, acupuncture can really help not only with the arthritic pain, but also help re-stimulate those nerves. And then I also really like to complement that with pain medications, joint supplements, things like that.
Okay. How will a veterinarian determine if acupuncture is right for my dog?
Yeah. So how will we do that? I mean, generally we just try it. The only reasons that I don't have patients come back for acupuncture is if the dog is really nervous and they really don't like being poked with needles. That definitely can happen. But overall, I mean, a veterinarian should be aware that acupuncture exists and also should be aware that it can be really helpful. So I recommend acupuncture all the time. And I think that more veterinarians really should be aware that it can't hurt, it can only help. So hopefully they'll be recommending it for any dog with almost any issue, primarily mobility issues.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all the information, Dr. Julie.
You're so welcome.